My coverage of Computex 2024 is brought to you by Fractal, Antec, Thermaltake, and ASUS. What's up, guys? I'm at Antec. I just walked in through their Hall of Mirrors because they are back. Antec is a long-time established name in the PC hardware space, and they've made cases really high in power supplies for quite some time. And they kind of disappeared a little bit. We're like, where did Antec go? I used to have like a P182 case. I used to build tons of people systems in the old school Antec Sonata, but they are back in a big way. We're going to cover some brand new cases that they have, which are really cool. But I'm going to actually start with the fan. Let's check out their new fans. I'm getting blasted in the face right now by their new Antec Nova fans. They're 120 millimeter size currently. Standard 25 millimeter thickness for these. They have fluid dynamic bearings, and they are made of liquid crystal polymer, which is the new hotness in fans, or the more recent hotness in fans. If you want to have fan blades that are very rigid, that stand the test of time, and that can have very minimal clearance between the edge of the fan blade and the fan housing, which is great for static pressure. They have a chart here so you can take a quick look at airflow numbers, air pressure, 6.56 millimeters of water at the high level here, because these are 3-level fans. They actually have 3 sets of RPMs, and that's controllable by a switch here on the back. Very convenient for certain motherboards and fan controllers that are just going to operate based on a percentage of power range, so you can limit the fan speed and still tell your motherboard to run the fan at 100%, but it's going to max out at 3,200 RPMs in high mode, 2,400 RPMs in medium mode, and 1,500 RPMs in low mode. So you have a variety of options, whether you want something that is cool and silent, or a little bit more performance, or flip it up to high mode if you're doing a bunch of heavy renders or something like that, and the cooling is your absolute highest priority. And given that we're in Taipei and it's a little on the warm and a humid side, although not as bad this year, standing right in front of this has been one of the highlights of the show so far. The Nova fans are still a product in development, but they do have them in a couple different colors. We have white on the right and a grayish on the left. It's really hard to get like full black with liquid crystal polymer, but I like the gray finish they have going on these. Since they're still in development, we don't have a price or a launch date yet. Next, we have the Tranquil series of fans, and I like how Antec names their products that kind of in a way that indicates what they are. So these are going to be more focused on silent operation, and they're going to be a little bit more budget-oriented than the liquid crystal polymer fans. But as you can see, they have them in both RGB and non-RGB trim. They are fluid dynamic bearing fans. Antec is looking to launch these around the Q3 timeframe, so we still don't have a price quite yet. But I do enjoy fluid dynamic bearing fans, so keep an eye out for these in the next few months. Here's some prototype fans in development. They are called Orbit, and Antec said they were just going for max RGB. No apologies, just like, hey, we threw as much RGB as we possibly could at this fan design, and for people who don't like RGB, obviously, this is like the worst thing ever, but there's a lot of people who really love RGB, and the more the better. So let Antec know what you think of this design. We have lights on the side, we have rotating lights around the middle, we have an infinity mirror in the center. These are also fluid dynamic bearing fans that have a max RPM of 2,000. So because they're prototypes, this is one of those Computex things. Antec is looking for feedback, so let them know what you think about this design. Also aiming for a Q3 launch are the Neo Prism fans, also available in black and white, also available in 120 and 140 millimeter sizes. Not quite as much on the RGB as the Orbits over there, but we're also targeting a Q3 launch for these guys. They have a hydrodynamic bearing fan and max fan speed of 1,500 RPMs. Among the things that Antec did a really good job at back in the day was power supplies. I've used quite a few of theirs, and they're coming back in a big way too. I'm going to cover quickly the 3 series that they have. The CSK Pro right here is an 80+ bronze rated unit, so it's going to be a little bit more on the budget side in terms of pricing. It's also partially modular, so you have some cables here, but you can connect some extras to cut down a little bit on the cable clutter. This is ATX 3.1 and PCI Express 5.1 compatible, so you do have the 12V2x6 connector on this. Pretty impressive that they're aiming for high wattage with this one. This is 1,000 watts, but they're also developing 750 watt and 850 watts for this unit. This one is still in production, so look for it to launch around the Q4 timeframe, but they do have a couple more units on display here. These are already available, so you can go ahead and look up the GSK ATX 3.1, available in 850 and 750 watt capacities. A nice trim little 80+ gold unit here, still fully modular on the back, and yes, ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 support, so which is the case for all these. I'm just gonna say, all these have that. I love teeny tiny power supplies, especially when they have enough wattage to power like the higher end graphics cards. So 850 watts is a really, really nice wattage level to go for this kind of unit. This is the SF850X. It's super tiny, it's 80 plus gold rated, and again, fully modular, ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 compatible. And finally, if you're looking for maximum efficiency, check out the HCG Pro line. These are platinum rated in terms of efficiency, 850 watts, 1000 watts, and 1200 watts, ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1, fully modular too. Let's talk cases next. The Constellation series is highlighted by the C8, and the C8 is available in a wide variety of flavors. This one has the curve, so this is the C8 curve because it has a curved tempered glass piece. And whereas the rest of the C8s, I can tell you the pricing, this one I can't quite yet. They're still working this one out. So I wanted to start off with this one because it's a little bit more unique with that curved tempered glass piece. But beyond that, we have a double chamber chassis. We have the availability of a walnut trim on the front for those of you who are liking this trend of adding some wood paneling to cases. I like it. I like the contrast of the wood and the tech. An extremely large main chamber here that's going to be suitable for crazy water cooling setups like they have. This one was built by AK. But likewise, if you're going air cooling, you're going to be able to fit the maximum size air coolers in there as well. This is a case that Antec is going to be shipping without fans installed, and that's helpful for keeping the cost down a little bit, and it also means that you can choose your own fans to outfit it with. But in terms of radiator support, you have three-way 360 millimeter radiators, one on the bottom, one can go on the side, and one can go across the top. Here are the other variants of the C8s. We have the C8 wood over here, and this front panel here that's wood, they're not charging extra for it. The base version of this case is going to be $130, and it's not going to include any fans, but you'll have a few choices for this front panel accent strip, whether you want to go for wood or the black finish that you can see over here on the curve version. These also support up to EATX motherboards, and when the curve version comes out, that is going to have back-to-front compatibility with ASUS and MSI motherboards. That's not currently a feature on the C8 wood, but look for the standard version to launch very soon after the show. Just a small step down from the C8 is the C7. This is available in ARGB, black, or white. This one has some unique access panels down at the bottom that pop off quite easily. It also has a cable management area on the back with a couple doors that swing out pretty easily to close. And that'll help hide your cables a little bit more nicely. They again have a nice custom water-cooled build setup in the C7. This one's actually going to be a little bit more expensive than the C8. It's going to be $140, but it is going to come with a full complement of 4 fans pre-installed. This is a very cool case, a very striking case. They're looking to launch this around September. It's going to have an MSRP around $200. It's a mini ITX case, small form factor, but it has really easily removable side panels. It has a very striking internal frame that has a red finish. They're aiming for an MSRP of $200 with this case, and I really just love how these panels pop off so easily. The internal frame there is actually adjustable, so over along each edge you have a few different mounting points, so depending on whether you're using a thicker graphics card or whether you need a little bit more room for your cooler over on the motherboard and CPU side, you can adjust that to your needs. It also comes with the riser cable pre-installed. And let's round things out with the Flux Pro over here. This is Antec's new flagship. It is a full-size case. It, of course, has some wood accents on there. That is walnut, by the way. All the wood accents I've been showing you today on the Antec cases are walnut. And I really like some of the aesthetic touches for this case. Like, you have a little bit of a sort of a wave pattern on the front mesh. I'm not sure if my camera is picking that up very well, but that gives it definitely a distinct look. This case is designed for high-end builds. You can see there's plenty of room in here in the main chamber. It's not a dual chamber, like, wider case, so your power supply is going to fit down here at the bottom. They have a unique implementation for that, though, in that you can rotate the power supply to have the plugs actually face the side of the case. Since it is a little bit wider, they have enough room for that, and it comes with an AC extension. This case is also going to have a focus on performance. As you can see, plenty of ventilation for airflow. You got a panel down here at the bottom. This here is actually an info panel. It's not currently plugged in with this system that's set up, but that's going to be able to display things like your GPU temperature, CPU temperature. This is a very popular case. As you can see, I can't even get into the corner over there where they have the 2 other models of it, but fortunately I got some B-roll for you guys. There's a white version, and that is the actual shipping version that you can see. They're aiming for a price of about $170 to $180 for this. It's going to be launching in the August range, you know, give or take a little bit. Products that are still in development might shift from time to time. But along with that price, you also get 6 fans that are pre-installed. 4 of them are going to be 140 millimeter fans, and then you're going to have 2 120 millimeter fans that are designed to go in the bottom. They're not installed in this case right here, but those are reverse fans to draw air up from the power supply basement into the main chamber of the case. Oh, and I almost forgot radiator support. You can actually do a 360 or a 420 at the top or at the front, not at the same time though. So you can either do a 420 on the top and 360 on the front, or 420 on the front and 360 on the top. Last item to show you guys, it's not a PC hardware component, but it is a portable gaming device. This is called the Core HS. Antec has been developing this in coordination with Aya Neo. It's available in black and white. It's $800. It comes with a variety of accessories, and it even has a little keyboard built into it. I don't usually cover handheld gaming devices as much, but wanted to point out to you guys that this does exist. And I also wanted to say a big thank you to my sponsors for Computex 2024. Antec, of course, as well as Fractal, Thermaltake, and ASUS. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more Computex coverage, check the playlist down in the video description, and we'll see you all in the next one.